To begin with, if all of you could probably give me your opening remarks and what you think about employability skills. How is the higher education ecosystem faring at the moment? When it comes to developing employability skills, and what are the initiatives that you are taking at your respective institutes in driving this forward, in bridging the gap between the academia and industry? So the current scenario at your respective institutions, and what are the initiatives being taken to bridge this gap between academia and industry? So I can begin with Professor Amit Patra.
Thank you, Garima, and I'm very happy to be part of this panel. In fact, yesterday we had a panel with a similar objective, but I think today we are coming down to brass tacks in the sense that what are we doing,
Yes.
right? Which is good. And actually, frankly speaking, right now there is a big disconnect between the type of employment our students are going and the kind of education or the curriculum they are going through, because everybody knows most of the jobs are in the IT sector, while students will be studying, mining, metallurgy, mechanical, whatnot. So apart from their regular curriculum, all of them are trying to make up. All of them are trying to make up on their coding skills, and the spending, burning the midnight oil to do that. And in fact, there are faculty is thinking, okay, they are not paying attention to the core areas, which is also a fact. But frankly speaking, there are no jobs out there, or not so many in the core sector. So they are forced to do that. So frankly, we are, as a faculty in the collective level, the whole institute, were unable to really meet their expectation, because the faculty in core areas, they are not so much AI or IT savvy. They're probably IT savvy. Generally, they are all computers based education. Computerization of the subject is always there, but the professors are not good at coding, or neither at judging them and how they code. So what we are thinking is that at least let us do one thing. Can we give them a and also, frankly speaking, the number of faculty in the computer science and a couple of other departments who are capable of giving the such courses is also limited. So we are kind of letting them learn whatever they can on their own. And what we are right now thinking of is them kind of give them a certification, so that they all come at the same level. As far as when employers come, so they can judge. Okay, so they might not have done such good in their first year programming in data structure course, but in later on in Java, C programming, Python, whatever. So they will be judged, and there will be some kind of marks, or some kind of certification, maybe grades or marks, something would be given, so that the potential employers can decide whether to allow them for their placement, and to sit them in the placement interviews. So that's the least we are trying to do, and the more what we are planning to do. In fact, this discussion here actually is giving me the impression that we can probably tie up with private companies also to augment our resources, and maybe IIT can look more on the certification, examinations, that part, and leave them to whatever their choice of the platforms in learning those skills. So that's what we are currently thinking of. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Patra. Mr. Pandit, over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Abhishek Pandit here. I represent a skills university. It's called Scope Global Skills University. We are based out of Bhopal. The primary objective of the university is to work with the industry. So all our courses, all our programs that are there in the university are linked to one industry or the other. So we've ensured that the courses are designed jointly with the industry, and it is also implemented with the industry. For example, in many of our courses, when the students join the university, they get an offer letter from day one. So they know that they have the offer in hand. They know the location where they'll work. They know the job that they'll have, provided, of course, they finish the course with all the conditions saying they should clear, etc., etc. The industry is given certain conditions. If those conditions are met, they are clear of the job that they will have. So I think that's a step towards moving towards a situation where industry is also very clear of the kind of resources they'll get at the end of the program, and we are also very clear in terms of where the students will go. The other step that the university has taken is apprenticeship embedded programs. That's something that we are very gung-ho about, and AICT has also come up with the draft norms. You can look into it on the AICT website. I think these are the courses which are going to be the courses of the future, where the student will work very closely with the industry during the program, because we believe that the best skills are obtained in the industry. How much ever we might be able to teach them, but the actual skills, we all know, we've been through this education system, and the actual learning actually happens in the industry. So we are trying to blend the industry in the curriculum itself, and they undergo proper formal apprenticeship program, and they get credits for that, and then they finish their education programs as well. So the ultimate objective is to work with the industry from day one, so that the student is industry ready. Industry is also very aware of the student at the end of the day.
Right. Professor Nagawat.
So,
It's on. Yeah.
first of all, at the outset, I wish to thank organizers for providing me also an opportunity to share my views here about skill education. I am looking after Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University, and we are working in close association and partnership with the industries. Ours is a different kind of university. We are not a primarily technical university, but offering program in different disciplines, many disciplines. In fact, we have listed 104 departments which we will be having, and in each department, we are developing curriculum in consultation with and by involving experts from the industry. So we have unique kinds of programs in my universities, like we have a program, regular academic program for emergency dialysis technology. Most of the universities would not pay attention to certain industries and will pay attention to the program and courses where there are a lot of industry, a lot of demand is there, a lot of workforce is required, or which are in more demand in the market. So we are working for each and every section of the industry. So with the Apollo Med Skills, we are running this program, emergency dialysis technology. I am just giving as an example, where the curriculum is designed in consultation with the experts in the industry. At the same time, delivery is also through the experts who are already doing the job or are involved in the industry and doing the activity. And the evaluation is also, we have one component. Every program, the evaluation is done by the expert who has that particular skill set, who has already demonstrated the expertise and have achieved something. So even if I am delivering a food production program, then the food production program would be evaluated for a particular laboratory or workshop type activity, like food producing something, will be evaluated by chef of a 5-star hotel, so that we get the inputs where our students are lacking and what can be done, and so on. So we have programs in all walks of life, including from vertical farming to the AI programs also. And we do believe to introduce in coming years programs where the industries are very few, but are shortly will be more and more industries will be coming up in the areas like quantum technologies, quantum computing. So we are paying emphasis to that also, because we know that this century would be known as a century of quantum technology.
Right.
At the same time, we have an emphasis and proper emphasis on programs which are related to the biology and evolution, because I firmly believe that our time is limited and the Homo sapiens would be taken away, the control will be taken away by the new biological species, which will be an engineered species, and maybe we will be the first, our future kids will be the first to engineer themselves, and a new species will emerge, which is referred as Homo evolutus. So we are also working at how we can help the industries which will be coming up and the area of and city of Delhi. So we are quite open, and any industry people present in your conference can visit any time and give any idea to us. And we would definitely like to work on that. We have no limitation. We are not limited to a particular domain. So my university would be functioning primarily in the full spirit, and we have implemented the national education policy in toto. So multidisciplinarity, interdisciplinarity will be encouraged. So I am looking forward for cooperation and collaborations with all of you present here, and especially the industry people.
Wonderful. That's quite futuristic. Wonderful, sir. Yes, sir. Professor Udani.
See, going alone is not possible. But still, 60% of the task is a university's task. 20% you can outsource to the industry, and 20% you can outsource to the edtech company. So one message is very clear and loud. If a university management is thinking that everything will be done in-house, so those days are numbered, cannot happen. So we have to have a partnership with industry, we have to have a partnership with edtech company also. Being a university, what kind of programs you have to design, that is your choice. Let me talk about my own university. We have 14 faculties. 7 faculties are in health science and allied. We don't have any problem related to placement. It's not a worry at all. And same thing is true across the country. The main problem is core engineering, maybe somewhere in pharmaceutics or other science discipline. But being a part of Gujarat, a hub for automobile and pharmacy, what I have done in pharmacy, I tell you example. The 3 practices we have involved, it is our own design. What are the good manufacturing practices in pharmacy? It is a component we have introduced in BPharm course. PCI guidelines are there, but add-on course always you can have. Another is a QA/QC, and third is a sophisticated analytical instrumentation. So if somebody after BPharm or MPharm, he or she has to join a pharma industry, we have made him ready. 3 components we have taught him, and each component is 20 credit, maybe around 200 hours he can learn. Now coming to the core engineering, first semester and second semester engineering is common. In third semester, fourth semester, he will be picking the thread of his own discipline, mechanical or electrical or civil or whatever it may be. What we have done in university, in semester 5, we have introduced a mini project. That is 20 hours. Let me give you example. So somebody is doing a mechanical engineering, suitable component for him will be cybersecurity or AI. So in 20 hours or 30 hours in a semester 5, you will be doing literature survey about cybersecurity, for example. The next semester, he will be picking up a problem. What kind of problem I need to solve, just like a PhD research student. And 7th semester and 8th semester will be doing a one major and second major. So these are the freedom available to the university. Yes, in affiliated colleges, probably this kind of freedom is not available. So mini 1, mini 2, major 1 and major 2. If somebody is doing this kind of 4 project, I think cyber security or AI, ML, any kind of a discipline you pick up, any minor degree you pick up, additional training of 400 hours or 600 hours is good enough for a job placement or employment. What we have done, morning we are talking about AI, and there is an announcement in current budget, 10,000 crore plus has been sanctioned by the cabinet, and per annum it must be around 2,000 crore. So government policy is very clear. Everybody has to sharpen their skills. Laboratories are to be established so that you can groom AI technology. You can implement AI technology not only for a core engineering, for a health sector also. What we have done in our university, last year we have established AI lab, open source and proprietary software also, code software also. And AI has to deal with the big data. We have 4 different kinds of big data. One is a text data, that is large language model. ChatGPT is working on it. Another is voice data, video data, and image data. I had worked in ISRO, 35 years ISRO, I had done the job. And we had developed expert system on those days, 35 years back. Today we are calling it AI. So I have selected a image data. We have a lot of image data because of the dental college, medical college. Lot of patient data is available with us. So we have targeted 3 vertical. One vertical is healthcare and AI. Second vertical will be second vertical will be AI in agriculture. And third vertical will be AI in infrastructure. Lot of things we have done in 1 year. We have planned, at least we have done 4 or 5 seminars, faculty development program.
Right.
But it's a big umbrella. Targeting everything in one go is not possible. So we are focused AI in agriculture, AI in infrastructure, and AI in healthcare.
Right.
And we have done wonderfully well.
Right, sir. Right. Mr. Balamurugan.
Thank you very much. Okay, quick intro about me. I'm Bala, co-founder of Goovi. Basically a technologist, worked in PayPal for 10 years, been on the forefront of hiring freshers, and have seen the skill dearth as in a first hand. Okay, after seeing that, started an initiative online, which has been picked by Professor Ashok Junjunwala of IIT Madras, and then he incubated a company for us through which we started GUVI. It's been 10 years in this journey, have skilled 3 million learners through our platform, and are working with 1,000 plus recruiting partners through our platform. So, backed by HCL now. So this is the journey of us in the skill segment. And to add to all what the professor said, when you want, see basically what we do is, see in learning there are three aspects. One is what you learn and how you implement your learning, which is practice. Third is how do you assess yourself so you stay relevant to the industry demands, right? These three are the major verticals. So in learning, we bring directly the industry professionals' knowledge into the academy through academic credit courses. So we've been offering this for more than 20,000 students till now with more state universities and private universities, where the industry professionals run these academic credit courses on a flip model. The first is equipping the faculties of the institution so that they remain aligned with the industry demands. We strongly believe only if the faculties are aligned with the industry expectations, they can enrich the students, and which is being done by the industry professionals for the remaining 70%. As he rightly pointed out, it cannot act as a standalone. It has to be in a give and take model by both university and the industry. Okay, that is how the learning experience is being done. Next comes the practice part. This is very crucial because twice of the learning has to be done in good practice, where we apply the real or simulate the real work environment for our learners. To give you an example, right? As Professor Patra was mentioning, people learn code, but if you go to a real industry, right, you don't just write code snippets to solve a problem. Okay, you need to work as a repository with multiple people to get your code aligned with the problem solving. So for that, you have to create a code repository, which is GitHub, which can actually make multiple people to work on a common source code repository. This is a direct simulation of the industry for an academic student. Okay, that's what GUVI does. Every student of GUVI goes through a GitHub profile with the GitHub co-collaboration with the fellow learners. Okay, the next part is how they deploy things in the real life. They don't use local clouds or local systems or G drives to host their systems. They obviously go for cloud solutions like Azure or AWS, right? We have our own cloud deployments where people can come and try it firsthand so that they can really see how things are deployed in the real life. So these kind of learnings can be done as a practice, and this has to be every learner, when they go through this, they get the real feel of how things work in the industry, right? So this is the actual simulation of the industry in the practice part. Next comes the assessment. Assessment is no more a standalone of MCQs, which just tests the people. It's more of how a student reacts to the real problem use cases. Okay. So what we have mock interview simulators by AI, which act as a real HR to identify the real talent. The beauty of GUVI, what we had is, since we have 3 million users, right? The data points that we have accumulated over the period of 10 years is humongous, which means the data model is so fine-tuned that it can personalize the content for each learner to an extent. It can simulate like a real HR who can ask different questions for different individuals and test their real capability and report them. So these are the ways in which we ensure that the learning and the practice and then the assessment is being done in an industry simulated environment, which actually makes them prepare for the industry skills.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. So, Bala, I appreciate the work that you're doing and the various initiatives that, all of you are carrying out in your institutions. But I have a question that, the pace of change where we are at the moment and even, the far-sightedness that we are looking into the future, how do we help students to actually cope with this pace? Because any new curriculum, any new format or structure to be first implemented has to be researched, vetted, approved. And by the time it is actually on the table, the technology has moved much way ahead, leaving that gap. So in terms of, what are the various ways and means that you see can be used, or if AI can be integrated or is being integrated to actually bridge this gap so that the employability and skills are actually matching the pace of change? So it's open for all, the question is open for all. Sure. Yeah, please.
See, though in new education policy, it is been advised you need to design a multidisciplinary curriculum. I firmly believe higher education is a disciplinary education. If you have to provide additional information, it is always possible through UGC guideline or AICTE guideline. You design a minor degree of 18-20 credits and throw to him. If somebody is doing a mechanical engineering and halfway through the journey he has realized, I am not capable of designing a machine, I am not capable of designing a machine or maybe diagnosis of the machine. But yes, if machines are produced and I can market it better way, then he has to do a minor degree in a marketing management or something else. So as a higher education institution or leadership, we need to focus higher education in a disciplinary education only. As I worked in ISRO for so many years, we have good faith in discipline. A physics person should know physics only. Electronics person should know electronics only. And IT person should know IT only. So higher education is basically for a disciplinary education only. But as you said, because technology is changing, requirements are changing, and freedom is there. University has enough freedom. Whatever demands are there for a mechanical engineering or maybe pharmacy or a nursing or a dental or a medical science, university can always design add-on course. You have to follow guidelines of his regulatory agencies, but university is a freedom. You can always design a minor degree and offer minor degree to the students, and through 2-3 minor degrees, one minor degree is 20 credit, that is multiplied by 15 hours, maybe 300 or 400 hours of additional learning. You will be good enough for any kind of industry. That is one component. Second component is the Modi Sahib has promoted a startup activity long back, and fortunately we are in Gujarat, and Gujarat has promoted startup activity in big way, being a private university also. Government of Gujarat has supported us. 1.8 crore is not a small amount. So 1.8 crore over a period of 3-4 years is a good amount to help student, help faculty. If you have good ideas, present your ideas to the university committee. They will do the screening, and then mentoring required will do the mentoring also, and then promote the startup. In the last 1.5 years, we have registered 10 startup with the DPIIT. We are going for a investor meet, and they will be getting an investment also.
Right.
And we have a philosophy. Any startup can be started with a capital amount of 1 lakh rupees only. 1 lakh rupees is not a big amount. 60,000 we are pumping from the university, and 20,000 from student, and 20,000 from the faculty, and they will be doing the business. Education is the only field where in a full-time service you can do the business also. So I think enough opportunities are there, and if university leadership is well prepared, we can bring our student at par with any industry.
Right, sir. Professor Nagawat, yes.
So at the DSCU, we are developing a system where a student once joins us is a student for the DSCU for all time, and all upskilling will be provided, and we will be very proactive in it. So if a student has gone, say, some course in, say, only air conditioning and a refrigeration technology, then if any new thing, new development comes, we come to know through the industry that some kind of reorientation is required. So wherever the student may be serving, he will be sent in a communication in proactive manner from the university that you can come back and complete these additional short-term courses. Because my university is paying more emphasis on this thing, that if we would be training 18,000 students we have on our campuses, then we will be having 54,000 short-term skill credit certification. 3 times we will be offering short-term skill credit certification in comparison to the regular programs. So most of the universities should do cater to this, and upskilling is very, very important, as you have pointed out. So we are trying to work out a solution, and hopefully we will achieve something, and then we'll be able to communicate again in some education summit.
Sure, sir. Great.
While we all completely agree that especially in the technology sector, every 6 months there's a change, right? And I don't think it's physically possible for every university to catch up with the change. And we also realize that. And one obvious answer to that is work with the industry. And if you don't work with the industry, you will never catch up with them. I'm an automobile engineer, and I remember doing my automobile engineering, and the industry that we go to today, there's a sea change. And even in manufacturing industry, the change is so rapid that it's almost impossible. If you want to be with the industry, it's impossible. In fact, many a times our students who go for training in the industry come back and teach us. Because there's something new that's come there, and they come back and teach us. So the only solution, we believe, is to work with the industry and give them as much exposure as possible and try and catch up with the industry as much as possible.
Right.
Let me
Yeah,
speak
Sure, sure, please.
on behalf of the professor's side, then you can add your.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I'm very glad to hear all the new initiatives. In fact, IITs are also thinking not only a minor, also a second major. Yeah, so that would actually, maybe the student may have to spend a little bit more extra time. But suppose somebody has not got a choice of his liking, his or her liking, and put in a little bit extra effort and get the subject of liking, including computer science and whatever the top choices those are available. Now, while that is one side of the story, the other side is also, this has not yet happened, but there are thoughts. There are thoughts whether whether we should give a general Bachelor of Engineering degree and let the students go out, and with the NEP and all, they can always come back and do a major in 1, 2, 3, lifelong, if they can keep doing, adding to their degrees. And as times change, they will be able to update themselves. Now, all said and done, one word of caution, in fact, I would say, is that it's very good, it's necessary also that the curriculum should be tailor-made to the needs of the industry, because otherwise students will not get jobs. But on the other side also, for really giving educational leadership, you also have to be a visionary. Otherwise, what may happen is that, I know in my own field, electrical engineering, most Western universities, they gave up their program on power systems engineering. And now they have a problem. Unfortunately or unfortunately, Indian system was slow. So we have retained our power system, and most, in fact, some IITs had actually removed it, but they have reinstated it. And it was still possible because the core was still there. Few faculty were there, and they were somehow keeping the lamp lighted. So these are also things we have to think about, or lest we actually lose the strengths that we have also, which may be required. These things come in cycles, right? So once you start neglecting the power sector for 15, 20 years, it is going to, give a pushback. So we have to keep that also in mind and somehow maintain a balance between these two.
Right, sir. Yes, Bala.
Okay.
Last word from you for this question.
Sure. Maybe I'll give an example
Yes.
of what happened, right? So maybe during the last event semester, okay? So I got a chance to discuss with the Vice Chancellor of a premium institution, where he actually asked me, Bala, I'm very excited to introduce new curriculum as for my students. But my challenge is, I don't have the time to equip my faculties quick enough so that they can come and do that skilling part. Or bringing that syllabus into my curriculum and getting the books defined for them is a real nightmare. Okay, do you have a solution for that? So what we did is, we worked with their board of studies and brought the generative AI course content for them within a period of 1 month. Okay, he opened up to his students as an open elective. Okay, open elective, which they can take it for a 3 credit. The beauty is 9,000 students took that course, okay, as their elective, and the best part is 80% of them are non-IT users, non-IT department, not the CS departments, which means the learners are curious to get equipped themselves with the latest skills. And the universities are willing to offer the skills in a quick way so that they remain competent in the market when they go out for the jobs, right? But the only problem is how to bridge them. Right. Okay, so that is where we can actually be a bridge. And the beauty is, we cannot do all the courses in this way. For example, I'll give you a real-time example. There are a lot of buzzwords in the market, right? We should know which one to take right now and which should take some more time to bring into the curriculum. I'll give you a real-time example of quantum computing. Okay, everyone, as they talk about AI and other stuff, you would have heard about quantum computing. The problem is, if you put it into your syllabus, getting a labs for someone to use or apply the quantum computing is very, 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 very low. Which means you will only give the theory part for them, which is of no use for them, right? That differentiation of what should be given, what should not be given right now can only be derived if we closely work with the industry and get aligned ourselves with the relevant skill set.
Right. Before we move ahead, any questions from the audience? Okay, we have one at the back. Can we have the mic here, please? Divyangi, this side. The lady in white, please. This way, yeah. Ma'am, if you could introduce yourself as well. But we would want you to use a mic, please. It will be easier for the rest of the audience also. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, sir. Myself, Dr. Manisha. I am from Guru Tegh Bahadur Engineering College under IP University. I am in from the stream of Electronics and Communication. This open elective, what you have just suggested, our university have already applied that thing for the engineering students. But the challenge we are facing, like our country is going towards VLSI and electric vehicles sectors. But there is a boom among the students to go towards the CSE and IT. Though the students of electronics can learn AI tools and artificial intelligence things and the coding by their own themselves also. But they are leaving the electronic stream for that thing because there is a boom in CSE and IT and they are switching towards that. And this open elective mechanism given them chance to shift their electronic stream, and they are taking computer science subjects in the final years and in the third years as an open elective. So this is a challenge. I think here industry have to come forward and teach the students that this is not the only demand of the industry. Our country is already switching towards the electronic vehicles, electrical vehicles, and as well as the VLSI technologies are demanding in the country. In the near future perspective, we need these things. But our students and moreover the parents and the public is not very much have this knowledge.
VLSI is very high,
Thank you, sir.
high technology field. If we have to design, let me tell you the story of whatever plants are getting established in Gujarat. What is technology available in mobile as of today is 1 or 2 micron. When we took over Silicon Semiconductor Complex Limited, Chandigarh, ISRO had taken over some time back, we had a technology 180 nanomicron. So it's a capital intensive industry and university cannot afford it. Government can create a facility and that facility can be utilized. If we purchase a VLSI design software, it will be 10 crore rupees, license fee will be very high, and we need to charge 10 lakh rupees per annum for EC student. The better option available as of today is, we are moving from 4G to 5G. If we have a 6 lakhs tower of 4G as of today, the 5G tower will be 7 times or 5 times more. How many engineering colleges are teaching RF engineering component to the graduate? We are teaching it. Say 10 lakh mobile tower. If somebody has to do health monitoring regularly, whether power is available, RF interference is not there, is a massive task. So there are many options available in country in each and every field. We have a power sector, pre-monsoon and post-monsoon. Survey is to be done, it is to be automated, drone technology is to be utilized, images are to be collected and automated way to be sorted out. So options are many, challenges are many. And students are doing wonderfully well, faculty are also doing wonderfully well. But somewhere in a higher education seminar, something like this, we are always blaming the Indian higher education is not good. The people who have learned from our own universities, they are doing job in ISRO, DRDO, they have built up missiles and rockets and aircraft carrier, AI technology they are building in India. So we need to be proud. Yes, our Indian education system has done the job. And last moment I tell you, how many of university leadership we are inspiring our student to join academics? How many we are inspiring? What is wrong in academics? If you don't have good teacher tomorrow, how you will run the show? Only one example I tell you. As of today, our economy is 4 trillion. By 2047, if it becomes 30 trillion, with 4 trillion economy, we have 4 lakh chartered accountant. When it will become 30 trillion, we will be requiring 30 lakh chartered accountant. This is the demand of the resources. Whether you will be happy, your management will be happy, your student will be happy. That is the solution.
Right. Yes, so you wanted to add.
Right. So whatever you said is not a new phenomenon, right? It's been happening since decades. But it'll be interesting to see what will happen in the next decade. Things are changing. Counseling is a very important part, and most students do not understand the options that are available. Good colleges, good universities do good counseling. It is also interesting to note that schools have started skills these days. They've been giving the students are being given exposure towards various options that are there. So the students who will be coming into the higher education ecosystem in the next few years will be more educated in terms of what are the options that are available. And as long as we give them options, and as long as we give them an exposure to what is life after you become an electronics engineer or an automobile engineer. Electronics is still sought after, but an automobile engineer or a chemical engineer for that matter, there's a lot that we need to do there, but I think we are all doing something in bits and pieces. But I'm sure things will change in the next decade, because the salary parity is also going to happen. That's one big change that has happened, because in the last couple of decades, IT always stood high in terms of salary. Nowadays, you see the parity that is coming through. All of these change will change the ecosystem in the next 10 years. Hopefully, in the sessions to follow, Elets, next time, we'll have a different word altogether.
Maybe just to add
Sure.
to it. Okay. I get your intent. So the solution is to build the electives, or always build the elective focused on the application of the learning. Okay. For example, right, generative AI can be built for domain wise as well. When we do that, we don't just put the generative AI for common as a nomenclature which can be learned by everyone to get the basic understanding. But as we go for the next semester, right, application of Gen AI in electronics domain, application of Gen AI in nanomedicals, right? These can be done. This is possible, and it is possible. We have done it as well. I'll give an example of how in Tamil Nadu Anna University, you would have heard about UI UX course, right? It is usually a design course on the IT field people consider, but it has been designed or customized in a way for fashion technology. Okay, UX is a concept which can be applied for any domain, and it is being built in such a way that it is being used by the fashion technology departments to imbibe their skills into their students. So you have the option to build an elective in such a way that it helps the departments to retain their core values or core strength, and also to get along with the latest skills in the IT. IT is no more a domain, right? It's a horizontal vertical. So that is how it should be.
Absolutely. Yes, sure.
You must be a faculty of electronics or student of electronics. In India, 30,000 resources are working for chip design. Designing a factory is not an easy task. Gujarat government is pumping 1 lakh crore rupees, 1 lakh crore rupees, then only fabrication can happen. But yes, student and faculty choice softwares are available. In Bangalore alone, must be 15,000 employees and resources working for a chip design. So India is a hub for chip design as of today, and tomorrow, as per the vision of the Prime Minister, we will be designing chip also. But it's a capital intensive industry. University cannot afford it. Government only can support, and there you can get internship. That is perfect choice. University cannot afford to establish this kind of facility.
Right. Okay. So there's one more question at the back. Can we have the mic there? Yes. So if you could introduce yourself as well.
Myself, Ish Kakkar. I am from Bareilly. I have no question, just putting something in the idea that while regarding the open elective and the departmental electives, while going for the NBA and the accreditation, there is always a prerequisites. If the prerequisites are well defined for the electives, then the problem will be sorted out, that the student will be trained in the same way. If the final year electives having the prerequisite list with the first year open electives of the electives, then there will be a series and the student will be trained in the way that he will be from the electronics with the AI, as the sir told that the AI, designing with the AI in the electronics in the VLSI, it will be the sort out. At present, what we are doing, we are just not thinking about the prerequisites, just mapping it like that and offering the electives and open electives on the availability of the faculties only. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Can we have the mic at the front, please? Here.
Professor Udani, I have a dichotomy when you are stating that higher education is essentially disciplinary education. I think it's not. And the reason is multidisciplinary approach has not been understood the way it has come out in national education policy. See, multidisciplinary doesn't mean that you understand many disciplines. Multidiscipline, this is a approach where you have to understand the problem from various facets. It's an integration of working culture, integration of streams, integration of disciplines, so as a particular goal has been achieved. And you know better than anyone, being in ISRO, this approach has been used not today. Only thing it has not been implemented in the normal educational institutions.
Sir, my answer is something like this. Let us focus on a disciplinary education in a higher education. If somebody has to learn extra discipline, options are available through minor degree. So let us not focus the disciplinary education. If a lady is getting treated by a gynecologist, why she has to go to the general surgeon? Gynec is available.
That's not the problem, sir. A super specialty hospital, it must have a gynecologist, but it must have a therapist who can treat the patient psychologically. That is the idea.
Say, university leadership should have a clear image. Government will give advisory. What is good for my university and what is good for my student, that is my choice. Okay.
No, I have a strong opposition to what he has said, because I do believe that what 1989, the invention of World Wide Web technologies have taught us, that all kind of boundaries should go away. Geographic boundaries have disappeared. Disciplines are boundary created by human beings. They have no meaning. When Sir Isaac Newton pursued the physics, it was not known as physics, it was known as natural philosophy. So natural philosophy, new disciplines keep on emerging. There are so many disciplines which have emerged in the last century only. And so we should not, a student should not confine himself to a particular disciplinary boundary, but he should have a dream on mind. The time is more pregnant with possibilities. And depending upon whatever he has on his or her mind, he should select the courses. So I am strong advocate of flexibility without any boundaries at all. And we at my university are trying to build that culture, that student first decide what he wants to do in his coming years of life, and based on his own dreams, because the universities are to support the students in making their dreams true. So this classical and old thinking of designing education, I think the time is now changed and is now no more in demand. The classification like BSc with physics, chemistry, mathematics, because now these are not only the major. There are many interdisciplines are also disciplines like nanotechnology. So why not we say that nanotechnology be given importance in higher educations? So
Right.
with
Right.
that,
Yes,
Yeah,
Professor.
actually, I would like to extend this, but then I'll come back to the ISRO example also to enhance this. So it's a very nice debatable point. But just one fact came to my mind. In China, there are universities dedicated to steel making or railways. In fact, we have in India, we have a very good example now, IIT, Indian School of Mines. So they're all around mines, and again they study electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, all that, but in that context. Now ISRO has its own university, space technology. So they're focused, and whatever is required, they put it there. So these may be the order of the day. Who knows? In future, we may all go for that kind of education. Thank you.
Right. Right.
In Gujarat, we have Gati Shakti University, totally talking about railways only.
No, that's true,
Railways
sir.
only.
There is nothing wrong. As Professor Patra rightly pointed out, you have your goal, but whatever required for that goal, that must be integrated.
Right.
That's the whole approach of multidisciplinary education, and that gives you a kind of problem-solving approach.
Thank you, sir. One last question, and then we take the final remarks. Yes, ma'am.
This is not a question. Actually, while sir was saying that we need to, when we are talking about higher education, I think the core has to be maintained, what sir is saying, because, higher education is not only about getting employability. It is also about understanding the nuances. You have to develop concepts. So once, a student is asked to do A, B, C, D, E, F together, his focus on the core is diluted. And at times we need those core people who will go into the depth of the subject and will come with new concepts. It's very important. As sir said, I also am of the opinion the more disciplines you have, the core gets diluted. So it's very important to maintain the core. If higher education means, it doesn't mean only employability. We just have to think about building on new concepts, recognizing problems. People will not look at those problems unless and until they know the nuances, they know the implications, they know each and every aspect which is getting diluted because of the transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary.
Right. Thank you,
So we
ma'am.
should have, I think, sections where the core should be there, and there can be a set of students who go in for interdisciplinary.
Right. The
So
foundation shall remain.
identification of that is there.
Yes, the foundation shall remain. And before we wrap up,
I'd
just
like to add a bit to that. So
Yes.
in industry, what we call this all that debate is going on. We call something like T-shaped professionals. T is like you have something for each, and then go deeper into one.
yes.
And now upcoming is E-shaped professionals as well is coming. So just to kind of I wanted to put that thought also. Maybe think
Yes.
on that
Yes,
aspect.
sir,
as well.
quickly, yes, sir. Yes. You just one last takeaway from all of you. How do you see the future? So quick, one takeaway. So Professor Patra, beginning from you.
Yeah, probably I've already given that.
Okay.
The future, I think, is bright. There's absolutely no doubt. The fact that the government is also thinking about changing the ecosystem, changing the education policy towards the right direction. In fact, I mean, not to be too political here, whichever government comes into picture, both the governments, if you look at some of the states which are not the central government there, even their education policy, they're calling it the state education policy, but it's a copy paste of the national education policy. So I think we are moving in the right direction. The future is bright, and it's good to be in the education system these days.
Perfect. Yes, sir.
I think time is very challenging, and the student and everybody should prepare himself to face the new challenges, and especially so because, as Ray Kurzweil has pointed out, the singularity is near. The rate of technological and other development is exponentially growing, and maybe society will not be able to keep pace with it. So these will be coming years would be very challenging, and we hope that through our universities and system of training, we will be able to make life more interesting in coming years.
Yes, Professor Udani.
So in 1985, the Texas Instrument established a capability center in Bangalore. Across the world today, those kind of research centers are 3,000 in number. 2,000 are operating from India. That is the Indian talent. So future is very bright. And right now, suppose in 2,000 capability centers, if 20 lakhs are working, probably if another 500 are getting added in that number, 300 will come to India. So that is the future for the young generation, youth, and the young faculty. If you are tuning your requirement, not for the industry, global capability center, Airbus is here, Texas Instrument is here, Deloitte is here, all big companies are in India, working across the country, and these are the 2,000 centers. We can send our faculty what is happening there. We can send our student what kind of intensive they are offering. Probably in this kind of forum we are not discussing, but it is a big chunk, 2,000 across the world, 3,000. As I said, 2,000 operating from India.
Yes.
1985, there was only one center. That is the future of India.
Right. Bala.
So I strongly feel that the model is already matured enough for universities to work with tech companies to bring the industry knowledge into the system. The only thing is, how do we utilize it? To give an example, everyone talks about AI now, but machine learning and AI has been in existence for past 40, 50 years. The only challenge was the availability of data and the infrastructure to run that. Okay, now the government has opened up the NEP with a lot of flexibility in the credit system, and also with the academic bank of credits, and with the universities taking up the open approach of bringing their partners so that the industry knowledge has been equipped enough for the student. It's been well settled enough. Now it's about the utilization of this model.
Yes, Professor Patra. Yeah, just one.
So I can't resist telling one thing, just to be, I think we can't tell the future. No one can actually. So ultimately, but then why the education? Education is actually to have that vision. So I think the leaders have to think what can happen in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years time, and then prepare ourselves in that direction.
Right.
I think that is how we have to think about it.
Perfect. What a wonderful discussion we've just witnessed. And thank you so much, panelists, for being here and sharing your thoughts.